Hey, so you're thinking of buying a new home in Las Vegas, Nevada. Maybe you're thinking of relocating, or you already live here. You've heard about the crazy incentives going on. Maybe you've seen some of our other deals and want to know the ins and outs. So we have the 6 most important things you need to know, and we're going to go over those with you today. This is me, Matthew, and Adrianne, aka Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre in the house.
All right, so the first thing people are asking themselves are, where are the new construction homes in town? So we'll drop a little map on you below, but to answer that question, they're everywhere. Anywhere there's a patch of dirt, whether they're gonna build a custom $3 million house on a half-acre lot, or they're doing an entire master plan community in a place like Cadence, or what's the northwest one?
Sky Canyon.
Sky Canyon. What's the one by Lee Canyon?
Sunstone.
Sunstone. Anyways, they're all over the place. If you look at the map, it's insane. If you look at the map from like 1990 of who lives here versus now, it'll blow your mind. We're surrounded by mountains on all sides, and we are kind of pushing out to that place. And if you look south by Dragon Ridge Country Club, we're building into the mountains. That's where the owner of the Raiders lives, and somebody just dropped a video of his house from a drone. It looks just like the stadium. It's his style leaves something to be desired. So let's see. One of the questions people ask is, how far away from wherever is this going to be? Well, you can find a new home within distance to whatever. If you fly in and out all the time, you're close to the airport, we'll find you something there. Honestly, if you give us 3 or 4 like must-haves, what your lifestyle's like, where your job's going to be, we're going to be able to put you in the perfect community for you and your family.
That's right, and really you're never more than 20 to 40 minutes from the airport. Sometimes you can be a bit closer. So if that's a concern, we can definitely work with that.
Yeah, I would say most of the new construction, you're 20 to 25 minutes away. And depending on if it's some kind of crazy event or something like that, even then you're 45 minutes away in the farthest northwest part of the town. The airport's nicely centrally located in Las Vegas. Of course, we have a lot of jobs here on the Strip, so depending on what you do, you could be anywhere. You know, a lot of people work from home these days, and that's why they're moving here from states like California, Oregon, Washington, Colorado, to get that nice weather and more bang for your buck.
Most places where you live, you are going to have close freeway access. So again, you're looking at maybe 5 to 10 minutes from a freeway.
The 215 is a giant circle around the town where it can be with the mountains. The 15 runs north and south. The 95 kind of veers off. As long as you're within a few minutes of the 215, you can pretty much be anywhere in town. Traffic's not too bad. We're not Los Angeles, we're not Atlanta, we're not, Seattle. It's fine, you can get around, no problemo.
The 215 is a pleasure to take. If you're close to the I-15, that can get a little more congested.
They've started to build like the high occupancy vehicles. If you have more than one person in your car, you have special lanes you could take. And if you have good tints, you could take those anyways. So that's a nice benefit. We had a client come into town. She had 3 days. We were able to put her in a brand new home right by the freeway because she works in Summerlin and in Henderson. So where she's at, we got her a 2-story, brand new home, 2,500 square feet for 3.75%, 518 grand or something like that.
The interest rate was 3.75%.
What would you think it was, the tax rate?
I'm just clarifying.
So anyways, we know where to put you. We have a ton of experience doing this. She's like the new home queen. She knows all the sales reps at every site. Make sure you call us, set up a Zoom appointment. Don't do research on your own. We can really save you hours, days, years, months of all this.
It's true. I do kind of have a running communication with a lot of the builders and sales reps. So just a few minutes of getting to know you, and I can figure out which builder to contact, and yeah, happy to do it.
If we know about you, your sports, your kids, your pets, like whatever you like to do, we know where to place you. Hiking, biking, gambling, work. If you like to go to California all the time, if you fly for, if you're a flight attendant, whatever, we know where to put you.
And of course, I like to keep track of who has the best deals. Where can you get the most for your money? So that's just...
Pretty much every day of the week, we get a new deal for whatever home builder, and they send those to her, sometimes to me. I'm on the back burner on that one. So, one of the questions people ask are, what are the difference between new construction and old construction? So I would say the majority of Las Vegas has been built kind of like 1995 and newer. If you look at the 215, that wasn't here until 2005 or something like that. But everything's kind of built from there and then gone out. We have stucco houses. They can kind of blend together, look the same. Just if you're looking at the $500,000 to $800,000 range, whether it's in the south part of town in Henderson, whether it's the north, they all kind of do look the same. When you start to look at the older houses versus the newer houses, well, right now you cannot beat the interest rate incentives. 3.75%, some of them have like 1.99% for the first year, some are 2.75% for the first year. It's constantly changing. So if you're gonna look at a house from 2005 that maybe was remodeled versus 2025, the 2025 might be cheaper, and then it also might be, half the interest rate. So the houses are, I would say, fairly similar for the most part. There's your little pockets of unique stuff, and you can call us about that. But one of the things you got to think about is 20, 30 years wear and tear on these air conditioners. They're meant to last 8 years. People push them to 30. Like today, it's 110 degrees out, and the humidity in August does start to get up there. You want to make sure you look at roofs, appliances, if you have a pool pumps. With the modern technology that's coming out, like things are more efficient. Another thing to look at is windows. 25-year-old windows, you're probably losing about half of your air conditioning out the window versus the new double-treated, E-Pane, certified, hippy-dippy. In the long run, you save money.
On that note, another thing to consider is the floor plan of the house. If you have an open vaulted ceiling and an older home, then that could mean that your power bill is going to be a bit higher.
Well, adding on to that with the open concept, this and that, like you may have 2 air conditioners, you may have 3. When you get some of these older homes with inefficient windows and you want to make a fixer-upper, you like HGTV, I'm not saying not to do that, but you got to think about, do you want a $700 a month power bill in the summer? So something to consider. Another reason to hit us up first. We had the experience with all these things. The construction of these homes has been the same. It's the same builders pretty much for the last 35 years. You'll meet some old timers around town like, oh, I built this house, I built that house. So there's really not much difference other than like what's popular. Every 10 years something else is popular. Everybody loved the gray paint. I blame HGTV. We got gray paint. Now everybody hates it and they want the white paint again. So stuff like that will change, but pretty much easy. One of the questions we get asked too is about, do these new homes have smart features? Well, if you look at a luxury home that's 10,000 square feet, they'll have a whole server room with a Questron system and you could do all this stuff with your phone. But honestly, these days, you buy 4 Alexas for $150 and you have a smart home with smart light bulbs, turn stuff on, smart thermostats. So I don't really think that's much of an issue. One of the homes we just sold, they did have a 3-year service plan included with it for lights, heat, air conditioning, security, stuff like that. So just ask us about it if it's important to you. So to answer question number 3 on when you're buying a new home in Las Vegas, Nevada, when do you get to meet with the design team? A lot of these houses that we're looking at, and that we're selling, they're already designed, they're rolling them out like assembly line style, or somebody may have backed out of them. So if that's a situation, they're kind of just done, they pick very popular finishes, stuff like that. If they're already built, what the builders are doing is they're picking whatever the popular finishes are, what most people like, and then maybe you could pick this, that, or the other. Of course, you could obviously paint, but when you get into the higher end stuff, I'm gonna bring in the expert Dr. Dre to talk about this.
So yes, in some cases you would have a design center consultation. It could be at a separate building from the sales office, and you go meet with the designer. They show you all the options that they have.
So this is when you go in, they pull out a drawer and you got like 25 different types of cabinet handles, 50 different door options, like 55 different door handle options, like 77 shades of paint. Like, this is what you're talking about?
Yes, when you're building a home from dirt typically, or a higher end custom home. Keep in mind that, obviously the more upgrades that you choose, they do ask for a deposit on those. It all gets worked out in the end towards your down payment if you're getting financed. but that would be a point in the transaction where you would need an additional deposit. The structural options, those usually get decided at the sales office at the start, or there could be a separate consultation for those two. That usually comes before the design options.
Question number 3 is about like picking your design, your finishes, your this, that, the other thing. And moving on to question number 4, do the builders offer like a custom package upgrade? Can you add a bedroom? Can you add an office? Can you change the way the house is laid out? Can you, change the refrigerator? That would probably be the refrigerator thing on the last question, but most of these are pretty well mapped out. Like there may be a downstairs room that could be a bedroom or an office. They either put a door in or leave a door out, stuff like this. What are you seeing?
Yes, they have prearranged floor plans, so you can sometimes work with things that you need. You know, if you'd rather have a huge shower put in versus the shower tub combo, yes, they can work with that. There might also be things to extend the patio, add a patio cover, add also a balcony or a deck, things like that.
Yeah, that makes sense, but when people are asking, like, can I take the kitchen and move it to this side? And this is not like old Farmer Brown going out and sticking your axe in the...
chances are that's probably not possible.
Yeah, I mean, we're not like...
Unless it's a custom home that you're building.
What we're not doing really is coming out into the desert, sticking our axe in the ground and kind of homesteading and just building a house. Everything's kind of prearranged. The communities are prearranged. The builders are prearranged. Everything's very well set and kind of so she always talks about building from dirt. These homes are released in stages, so what they're going to do is sell 30 at a time. Once those are sold, bought, paid for to a certain level, they'll open the next stage and the next stage and the next stage. Everything's very methodical out here. Once again, unless you're getting into 2, 3, 4 million, and it's kind of rare to like buy a plot of land and build a home on it. It's very ineffective cost-wise versus the big 5, big 10 builders that do this every day. They have everybody under budget. They have huge discounts on their supplies, stuff like that. So if that makes sense. If you are looking for that huge custom homestead, I mean, there are builders like Terra Firma that'll go up in the mountains and build you a 20,000 square foot see-through with a car elevator. So we can help you with that as well. I'm sure you've watched, what the hell is that show?
$1 Million
Listing. $1 Million Listing. Yeah, it was on $1 Million Listing 2 seasons ago. So question number 5 about buying a new home in Las Vegas. What is the process like? You do more of these than me, so why don't you talk about maybe ones that are already built and then some of them that are fresh from the dirt.
All right, so the process is incredibly easy. You have the quick move-in standing inventory homes. Those are about as easy of a process that you get.
Can you explain kind of what that means?
Yes, dear. You can close on those within 30 to 45 days.
They're built already.
They are already built.
Out, they're checked.
Or they might need just a little bit of finishing. So, at that point, you would walk through, take a look at them. You might want to get a home inspection or not. Basically, you get your walkthrough scheduled, and at that point, we go through and blue tape it, and the builder typically will fix anything that you ask them to.
We just had this the other day. One
thing to keep in mind is you do need to finish the backyard. So that would be something you would do after closing, but typically the front yards are landscaped for you, and then you would have to come in and finish off the backyard. It's a dirt lot.
The front yards are landscaped because usually almost every house here has an HOA or a master plan community. Like the house we just sold in Cadence, they had all the nice plants and bushes and stuff like that. And what she means by blue tape, since you probably have no idea what she's talking about, like I do sometimes, is you go in the house, any speck, any smudge, anything wrong with the drywall, any weird thing, you go and you put a piece of blue tape on it, and then a week later it's all fixed. We actually did do a home inspection on this, so it helps, but they will fix everything. Everything's under warranty. This house we sold had a built-in sprinkler system, which greatly reduces your insurance costs. There was like one fitting that wasn't clamped down hard enough. So the home inspector used a thermal image camera and found that this was leaking, and you would have found it, they would have taken care of it, but your furniture would be in there, stuff like that. So
Yeah,
it's always better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, it's saving you the hassle of going through that. So it's a good idea to get a home inspection. Elaborating on that, that would be with a quick move-in home. If you are choosing to go the longer route so that you can customize your home a little more, otherwise known as building from dirt, or just a home that is a little further out, you know, it could be 3 to 4 months out, so the builder will be finishing more of the process and upgrades. It's still an easy process. You know, if you're out of state, we're happy to go keep an eye on things.
Most of our buyers are out of state.
Yeah,
FaceTime's a wonderful thing.
Basically, we can just drop in whenever, take some pictures, send them over to you, pictures and videos. The sales reps too are good about keeping you up to date as well. But it's a very easy process, whichever route you go. So it's probably the most pleasant process.
Here's the thing, you don't have to deal with an angry seller that thinks that their house is worth what it was worth in 2022. That is the greatest thing, and that's the reason why we're pushing so many people towards new construction these days. It's just business.
You're not going through a repair negotiation process.
Oh my God. I think one of the things that needed to be mentioned is with these quick move-ins, you could be time-wise, 30 days, 21 days, 45 days.
Yeah, as long as it takes to close your loan.
Yeah, with the longer builds, usually the max, depending on where they're at in the build, is 6 months. Now, if you start to get, that's probably under $1 million. When you get over $1 million, it can be a lot longer. If you're building in a sky, let's say, you could buy a lot, and then it could take, 18 to 24 to 30 months. We've had some clients that do that too. So you're literally picking every square inch of that house. So we've helped with those as well, but if you're just looking for your regular old, house, it's not that much longer, especially if you're watching these videos and if you're relocating here, or maybe you're gonna become a first-time home buyer. Call us long in advance, 6 months out, a year out. We can pick exactly where you need to be, and then we'll start the build process and then time everything up. Maybe you're waiting for your kids to get out of school, whatever. We're great with that. We do it all the time.
That's right.
Last but not least, the biggest question people ask, and it's very confusing, should you go by yourself or call the new home sales rep? What do you think about that?
The answer is a big no.
A big fat no. And why is that?
The sales reps work in the direct interest of the builder. They are representing the builder. They are not looking out for your best interests. So yes, they might say some things that you might have a better incentive if you just go ahead and get things going with them without your realtor representative. We have to be with you on the first visit. So
call us before.
We are able to negotiate quite a bit more. Once you get under contract, the builder expects you to stick to certain timelines, and they may not be concerned about sticking to their timelines, getting the house built in a timely manner. So things like that is where we help work for your interests to make sure things are moving and the build is happening properly.
So when you buy a house as a resale, the contract is 12 pages. When you buy a new build, 200, 300, 400 pages, plus your 200 or 300 or 400 page HOA, you need help. A lot of times they will cover our costs. Not all the time, everything's different, but a lot of times they're offering incentives for realtors that will bring a buyer there. The last one we did, we got $10,000 more in closing costs. We got an interest rate that they couldn't get on their own. We know all these people, we have great relationships with them, but please call us first. Even if it's the last minute, we can get you registered, we can take care of you. They're looking out for themselves. A lot of times, it's almost like going to a used car lot. They'll tell you whatever to get you onto the lot, and then they close you. It's maybe not that quite as aggressive as Bob's Used Cars, but there's so many different builders, there's so many different things. You just forget about this, that, and the other thing. You might get this closet crossed with this, or this interest rate crossed with this builder or that, and then
once again, maybe you don't know what all of your options are. Like this one builder might sound very attractive, but if you don't contact us, you may not know of an even better opportunity. So it is important to talk to us first, and so we can go over all your options.
I mean, we've seen a lot of these communities being here almost 20 years built from nothing. So like, we know the random neighborhood that the pool doesn't work. We know the place where you can't park your car in the driveway. We know where you can't park overnight. Like, these things are just second nature to us, so that's the reason you should call us. So if you kind of like what you're here, or you're really curious about going further down this process, call us now, today, no matter how far out you are. If you're whatever, coming for a weekend, trying to figure it out, you're moving here from another state, we will jump on a Zoom call with you, run through all this, we'll look at the map together, and we will find out exactly if this is for you, where to go, what to buy, what to do. Maybe new home sales aren't for you. The deals are popping, but who knows what's going to happen in the future? You know, who thought COVID would happen? Who thought all this crazy stuff would happen? We really like it when people reach out. If there's things that we're missing and not telling you, put it in the comments, and in the next video we'll get right to it.